Hello and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Today on the program, Christian Association of Nigeria tables 10-point demand before presidency, says lopsided appointments generating tension. Governors plan meeting with Borno State Governor Zulum as Governor Buni tells him to slow down amidst worsening insecurity. Justice Salami denies regretting being head of Magu panel as Magu's lawyer accuses a section of the media of twisting his closing remarks before the panel. And later on the show, JH Midweek Special is on the double jeopardy for commuters amidst lack of adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols and hike in fares by transporters. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Dotun Oladipo will be joining us via Skype. So if you're ready, let the hangout start. Let me use this opportunity to inform our viewers that Independence Day special of Journalist Hangout from 5 to 7 p.m. Join us for this special edition of Journalist Hangouts as we savor the special moment of Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary with you on Journalist Hangouts. So it's going to be 120 minutes of, explosion, Babajide. Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So we are going to look at Nigeria in the last 60 years. So it's going to be an extended version, 5 to 7 p.m. That's 2 hours. We're going to be here live for our Independence Day special. Moving on now, like a lone voice in the wilderness, the Christian Association of Nigeria, C.A.N, is raising concern over perceived lopsided appointments into key positions in government by the presidency. In a statement signed by the president of C.A.N, Samson Ayokunle, the association made a 10-point demand to President Muhammadu Buhari on the occasion of Nigeria's 60th independence anniversary. One of these is for the president to stop making lopsided appointments in favor of one part of the country. This, according to the Christian Association of Nigeria, is worsening tension in the country. Babajide, please, I want to understand this more, despite the fact that we don't speak on behalf of C.A.N, Christian Association of Nigeria, but what is the president trying to tell Mr. President? We are going to be 60 tomorrow, and he's saying that, look, this is deepening the seeming lopsided appointments is deepening the crisis facing the country, quoting his words particularly.
Yes, one thing we have to say is that C.A.N made some very valid observations, very valid. It's unfortunate that it is the aspect of a lopsided appointment
that was highlighted.
Yes, it's consistent with the character of the media to go for what it thinks is most sensational, But when you look at the entire statement that Dr. Ayokunle came up with, he spoke like a patriot, focusing on the problems of the nation and telling the government how the problem can be solved. For example, they refer to the confab of 2014. That confab came up with all kinds of recommendations. Yes, steps that we can take that can move us forward as a nation. Part of the what was suggested at that time is even the school feeding program.
Really?
Yes, it was part of what was suggested. And their own suggestion was that, look, we could even take it up to secondary level, like junior secondary. That should be part of what, they should be part of people who benefit from it. So it's not as if they merely focused on what's it called? On lopsidedness.
Appointments.
They also talked about the need for the president to sign the electoral reform bill into law. And I'm also convinced that it's one of the things that the president should do. We should be building
not close to election time.
Strong institutions. We should make it difficult for people to rig. We shouldn't have a situation in which an election will be held and some fellows will now go and be thanking the president. the president should have nothing to do with an election. Once the election is free and fair, the conduct of it pleases everyone, people will accept the election. But a situation in which government at the center always use federal might. So where a government fails to use federal might, it becomes strange. And then we'll go and thank Mr. President.
That you've done your job, thank you.
Yes. That's not, if we have electoral reform that effectively takes care of all the problems associated with our elections, we don't need to go and thank Mr. President that an election went the way it should go. You know, free and fair election will be something that we are extremely used to.
Electronic voting that will encourage many things.
Yes, that will ensure that you cannot rig.
That what INEC uploaded the results immediately from the polling units.
No, that one restored confidence.
Yes.
That restored confidence. And that's what they should have done in 2019. That restored confidence in the process.
Yes, observers, people were tracking the results.
Yes.
Tracking it.
So
by midday, we could say, look.
And then security agencies too, they need to always behave themselves. But the Electoral Act, the Electoral Bill itself, has come up with ideas that can help us to deepen the electoral process and make it much more credible. All the president needs to do now is to go ahead and append the signature. The last time that this came up, the president said the time was too short. But we cannot say the time is short now.
Okay, Dotu, now Reverend Ayakunle has raised this issue, and it's quite sensitive. A lot of people will tell you that, look, if there are some people that are against Mr. President now, is because of his seeming lopsided the way he has decided to appoint his strategic ministries. Yes, Doctor, are you there?
Yes, I read that story yesterday, and coming on a day that there was also an issue with the Senate over appointment into the National Pension Commission. It strikes a chord. It tells us something that as a country, we are very particular about federal character. My own person should occupy the seat. Senator Yinaya Abaribe raised a point in the Senate yesterday. It was shoved aside, and he was told to go to the committee to make his point. But it was the same issue he hammered on. I think the government also by now should also know that people are very sensitive about this issue. That was why, among the whole lot of issues raised by the Christian Association of Nigeria yesterday, that was what the media played on. Because even in the media, we shouldn't miss the point. It's a commercial venture. People need to position their stories in a way that will be attractive to the readers. Unfortunately, that is where we have found ourselves as a nation. But it is very critical. And like Babajide said, we shouldn't allow the other fine points raised by C.A.N to get missing.
Yes.
The issue of the electoral reform was raised.
Yes.
And I think that is very critical. I still recollect till date a chat I had with one of our very senior journalists, Gabriela Kiadewo. He's now the publisher of Freedom Online. He was in the United States for the very first election that produced Barack Obama as president. And the then governor of Washington, he had a chat with him and asked him, see, how often do you interact with the president? And this is his state, that is the capital. The White House is just a stone throw. And he said since he became governor, he had never been there.
Meaning never been to the White House.
He has never been to the White House for about 4 years. Now, what business does he have with the president? Nothing. That the president is running his show, he's also running his own. So there is clear-cut
Federalism.
mandate for everybody. But now we have turned it into, if I don't go there to go and lobby, if I don't go there, it's not as if we do things based on competence solely in this country. It's a shame. That's why we all keep fighting. For instance, what Senator Abaribe raised in the Senate yesterday was, look, the outgoing or the outgone Director General of PENCOM was from the Southeast. Why are you going to the Northeast to go and appoint a replacement? That it's for him an affront on the Southeast, and that a Southeasterner must replace a Southeasterner. But the question we have not asked is, how competent is the person who is coming in? And those are the issues we must begin to look at. Like Babajide said, the Electoral Act, we can't run away from it. We need to look at it again and let the president append his signature. Just like we are doing now and being in a hurry about the petroleum industry bill. We should know that politics, in a way, holds everything that we do, be it economy, religion, everything.
Okay.
Because we need political leaders.
Thank you for that intervention. Jide, let's bring it home now. Appointment has been made. A lot of people have spoken about the appointment made in terms of the top security appointments in the country.
Yes.
That it has been dominated by the North. And a lot of people will say, when it comes to other strategic appointments, that distribution has never been even. Now, what he's saying now, somebody from PENCON, from the Southeast, from PENCON, is it difficult to look for another person from the Southeast to replace the Southeasterner? Why must that position go to the North? One. Number two, we started the issue of federal character, and what is the essence of this federal character?
Yes.
Is
to
look
know about
our dangerous balance that we have in this country to make sure we're one.
Yes, I think that if we don't want to follow the federal character principle, we should just scrap it. But we can't have a federal character commission, and in words and in deeds, government will not be seen to be fully applying it. Because this thing, the federal character commission came as a child of necessity to help unite us as a people. Now, if we simply brush it aside, because the point that he made is very germane. When Adeosun lost her
position, finance.
Yes, naturally people expected that
somebody from that same place.
From the same thing Southwest. With Oke. When Oke lost
as DG
of NIA, I remember even on this program saying, Mr. President, yes, you didn't appoint Oke. Oke was a PDP appointee. You have a chance to replace him.
When Dakuku Peter side was even finished his
let me even. There are so many examples. I said we want to spend a whole day. Now, I then said, what you can do, because this thing is making people's blood boil, what you can do is appoint from the Southwest. But of course, the president didn't listen to me and went to Katsina and appointed someone else. The truth is, even within the North, there are complaints that
the Northeast is
having and Katsina are the states that are enjoying the most. I know that people even from the Northwest have complained.
People from Kano.
Have complained tremendously. So this is something that the president and his minders have to take a look at. But the truth is, Khan made some very valid points, like the issue of cost of governance. Anybody who truly loves our country should be worried about the high cost of governance, because the economy currently cannot sustain this extremely high cost of governance. Now we are borrowing all over the place. So we have to do something about the cost of governance. So there are issues, and he's saying that, look, he said our elections should be free, fair, and credible. If we want the governed and other nations to respect our political leaders, trust is hand, not imposed or enforced.
Okay, quickly, Reverend Young is calling us from Calabar. Thank you for calling.
If we want the government and other
Reverend Young?
Hello, sir.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Thank you and good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, first and foremost, I want to thank you for this program, and of course, I want to thank Babajide for a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that concerning the lopsided appointment of by Mr. President, I really would like Mr. President to look into it as the country turned 60 tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, you can turn away from your TV set or you turn down the volume.
It's gone.
All right. Moving on now. In times of trouble, support from any quarter can be a suiting balm. Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, is in need of more support after the latest 2 attempts on his life within 48 hours by Boko Haram fighters. Governors in the country are planning to meet with the governor to offer support and advice. Concerned by safety, the governor of Yobe State, May Balabuni, is appealing to Governor Zulum to slow down amidst worsening insecurity in the state, particularly in Borno State. In the north.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Governor May Malabuni is particularly concerned about Borno North. It's not as if any part of Borno State is totally safe. We saw Boko Haram coming into the metropolis, not even far away from the Air Force base the other night. So no part of Borno State is safe. There's no local government, or let me say there is no zone within Borno State that is totally free. Whether it's Borno South or Central, no. They are all unsafe, largely unsafe. So, but the truth is Borno North is where the biggest problem is, because even the influx of weapons that they need to fight their war come into Nigeria through that Borno North, because we share borders with Chad, we share borders with Niger Republic in that area. So there is concern. Nobody wants to wait until this governor is killed before they do something. No matter his level of energy, you can see clearly that the people are happy with his work. They can see that he's a lover of the masses. But at the same time, they don't want him to die.
His security is...
When people heard in Maiduguri that the governor's convoy had been attacked, some of them thought he had died. And they were crying. There's a video of people crying. The governor had to now go on radio to say, I'm alive, I'm well. So it is that precarious. So a situation in which Boko Haram, there was still another ambush on our troops yesterday. The information is still coming in. They killed our troops, they stole weapons. Now, their approach has changed. They will form illegal checkpoints, abduct people, take them away. In this attack on the governor, those who were hired to be cutting grass by the roadside, so that people can see a long, you can see like up to a kilometer, any form of danger that is lurking. Yes, they were hired by the governor to cut grass by the side of the road. They took them away.
Boko Haram killed them?
Yes. They also stole trucks. You know? And what they do is, it is the middle of the convoy that they will attack. They won't attack because they know soldiers will be in the front. So they come to the middle. They will use IEDs. And the confusion when everybody is running helter-skelter, when the IED goes off, that's when their snipers will now be taking out people one by one. That's when I read that story by the minister, the Attorney General of the state, that they used IEDs. But we saw pictures of people shot in the head. So it wasn't IEDs alone that killed those people.
Direct shots?
Yes, direct to the head. So the way it is now, the governor wants to move to Mate. Mate is even more far-flung than, more remote than Baga.
So does he want to move to Mate?
To also resettle people there. The truth is, the dangers are huge. The dangers are huge. We know what he wants to achieve, but the dangers are huge. The Nigerian army came up with the idea of Operation Last Hold in 2017, and their plan was to resettle people in territories that are now safe. But it didn't work. It didn't work. We resettle people in Guzamala. When Boko Haram went there to slaughter them, the place is empty now. Nobody is living there. Those same people will run away. You know, they will become IDPs again. That's why this thing, the security has to be in place before we can say, oh, this is what we are doing. Kukawa, very recently, the governor resettled people in Kukawa. Kukawa is also in Borno North. What did Boko Haram do? They waited a little bit, then struck in the place, attacked soldiers and civilian JTF. Today, Kukawa is undefended.
They will make sure that
Kukawa is
of the
undefended
rehabilitated
now.
buildings, they burn it.
So you know the danger. Nobody is defending Kukawa, just like Magumeri. So it means that if they come in the night, they will just have a field day. But the place was not occupied before. We brought people back there. So we have to secure the people that we are relocating. It's important.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's like we are taking them from fire to fire.
From IDP camp and...
Then the governor, as I said to him in the past, he can't go anywhere he likes. Even flying, using a helicopter.
You must work with the
even
military.
Using a helicopter, it's not safe. Because before our eyes, they shot down a UN helicopter.
Yes.
About, was it almost 2 months ago, and killed about 3 persons. So, who says they can't even attack an helicopter? They have
they have anti-aircraft.
Yes, they may not know how to use it to achieve accuracy with it, but at least they have it. So it's a dangerous environment that we are talking about, and I can understand why May Malabuni went on VOA to say, look, you have to be alive to achieve your aims for your people. So you have to slow down.
Datu?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, looking at the situation, do you think the governor should still go ahead with, you know, trying to resettle people in the IDPs in their ancestral homes?
It's obvious now that it's a futile attempt. Some 2 years back, there was this very lofty call and agreement to implement that once a town is taken back from Boko Haram, you put in security men to live with the villagers. But the downside of all the attempt to do that has been the fact that we do not even have enough security men. We do not have enough policemen, not enough soldiers, not enough civil defense men to stay within these villages, because we still have the ongoing battle against Boko Haram. So if you go in and you put in about 50, 100 villagers in a village, and you leave them with maybe 4 soldiers, it's as good as having done nothing. Like it has been observed, these people that our forces are fighting, they are using very sophisticated and expensive weapons to fight them. We've said it on this program before. They are using anti-aircraft guns to shoot human beings. So when people who are that rich, quote and unquote, to afford such, are fighting you, you don't take such risk. I like what the governor is doing. He wants his people back in their ancestral homes. He's passionate about resettling his people. But when you put them there, how do you secure them? Yes, we want them back in the villages. Let them go and cultivate their farms, earn a living, stay off government lages. But is that feasible now? My answer is a no. I think we need to do more homework, recruit more people.
I'm sure Governor Zulum's protocol officers, they will be having headaches.
Yeah.
Because the way he goes around unaided, he wants to do his own thing. He's not conscious about the the air around him, that is a governor. You can see this visual. He wants to do his thing. Just let me do it. Let me go anywhere I want to go.
Somebody was
Because
telling.
I know what this protocol officer.
You can see the way he's sweating. Have you ever seen a governor sweating?
This way.
Have you ever seen a governor sweating? He told
He's
someone,
very
he said,
passionate
look,
about that job.
that me, I'm a bushman. Leave me alone. Let me do my work. You know?
Me Dankweni.
That me, I'm a bushman.
Let me
Just
do my
leave
work.
me. Let me do my work.
Okay, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this teaser. Welcome back. It's your multi-award winning program, Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from TVC News in Lagos, Nigeria, and we are looking at the security situation in Borno State, particularly Borno North. We are talking about Governor Babagana Zulum and his colleagues. They've reached out to him. Guy, you have to be careful.
Take it easy. That's the point that they are making. And I think this is a general thing. Even the people that he works for, the masses, they don't want to lose him. The point that they are making is that right now, even in northern Nigeria, his popularity is tremendous. And I think it even extends beyond even northern Nigeria, you know. So that's not the sort of person that you want to see killed by Boko Haram. You've seen them kill commanders.
His passion is just...
So they will be extremely happy if they can achieve that. But the challenge that we have is to make sure that it does not happen. And we can make sure it doesn't happen by getting the governor to change tactics and by securing that place a lot more. We don't have the intel capacity to deal decisively with these people. Asymmetric warfare is fluid. They are constantly changing their methods. Yeah. We too must respond. Otherwise, the way things are degenerating, we will go back to the 2012, 2013 era. Because even the idea of super camp, I see it as weakness. Because that is static defense. Static. You have to
not on the offensive.
Yes, we have to be on the offensive. We close some battalions and put people in super camps where they have enough equipment, enough men. But that's at the expense of protection of some of the ungoverned areas. You understand the point that I'm making? So some places where we used to have troops on ground, they are not there now.
Do you think Boko Haram, do you think they have the capacity to attack this super
They've attacked super camps. It's on record that they've attacked super camps.
In spite of all...
Yes, they've attacked super camps before. But I doubt if they can do it now because there is a critical weapon that they were using that they've lost. Critical artillery weapon that they were using, they've lost it. They've lost it. They lost it during their fight with the Chadian troops. They've lost it. So
that time
now what they concentrate on now is ambushes. And there's no way that soldiers will not move around from one community to another. So once they get, how do they even get information about troops movement? So once they get the information, they go and hide, and then attack our troops. So ambushes are common now, much more like before. That suggests to you that even their own tactics have changed. They are not going straight to attack military bases, like before. It's the ambushes that they are concentrating on now. There was a time when they were attacking army bases and then stealing weapons and killing soldiers. But now they've resorted to ambushes and ambushes and ambushes. If we look at the record of ambushes in the last 2-3 months, it's been tremendously high. It's been the highest than at any point in the course of this war.
Doctor, your final take on this?
Well, like Babagina said, for now, the governor should slow down until there is enough security for what he wants to do. He should slow down.
The governor should slow down. Now, moving forward, accusations, counter-accusations, and denial are some of the latest issues trailing the ongoing probe of suspended Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC chairman, that's Ibrahim Mustafa Magum. Chairman of the panel and former President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Ayo Salami, has denied media reports that he regrets accepting the appointment to head the Judicial Commission of Inquiry probing Magu. In a statement, Justice Salami maintained that he has no cause to regret his chairmanship of the panel. Meanwhile, Magu's lead counsel, that Wahab Shitu, has dismissed a story making the rounds that his clients admitted guilt regarding the allegations leveled against him. He said Magu's only conviction is his innocence. Jide, this thing is, we are just going on and on in the same circle. The last time I saw Chief Mike Osekome went to and he made a submission to that panel saying that how EFCC chairman should, in future, should how they should be, they can make the appointments quite competitive and everything. And I looked at it and I said, okay, what's the meaning of this? I thought Sab initial, the meaning of this panel is, oh Magu, so is what you've done. Yeah, we're investigating you. So a panel was set up by the presidency and come and answer for your offense and we'll get the whole thing over with.
Yes.
By now, we should know his fate. He was suspended with some directors in the EFCC, and EFCC might not be able to, since that time, they've not been able to, prosecute most of their cases, despite the fact that we know some of those cases are still ongoing, but the face of the fight against corruption is on trial.
Yes, and one of the big regrets about this whole episode is the quantum of lies, fake stories coming out of the media, especially the electronic media, the social media. Why? Because we have chosen to conduct that probe like a military tribunal. Even military tribunal is not everything about them that they hide from the public. Because on the day of their inauguration, it will be covered. On the day they are sentencing people, at the height of military rule in Nigeria, some of the activities of the military tribunals were covered. But what we have is a situation in which the trial is being conducted or the probe is being conducted in secrecy, which has given room for a festival of lies. That's what is going on. So now, Justice Salami himself is a victim now of the situation because what clearly did not happen. He never told anybody. When I saw that thing, I didn't take the thing seriously. Now he has come out to say, no, I never told anybody that I regret or I regretted taking up this appointment. I want to promise Nigerians that in fact, he said, I remain resolute and committed to the service of the nation and resolute to champion the ideals of justice and fairness. Honestly, this gladdens my heart. It is fairness that we want. We want justice in this matter. If there is anyone within the presidency who is trying to ensure that his will prevails, I expect the members of the panel to be true to their conscience and fear God and do what is right. Yes, people will try to rubbish your image, peddle lies against you. It's because they know that Nigerians believe just anything that they read. And Magu himself has been a victim of that. Tremendously. We were told that, there was a BDC, Bureau de Change operator that he was dealing with, that the Bureau de Change operator sent money to Pastor Omale, and Pastor Omale then put the money in Magu's account. They sent for the Bureau de Change people. The panel sent for them. Those guys said they had never done anything with Magu. Their accounts, their bank accounts were scrutinized. No such thing. They put them through a polygraph or what's called a lie detector test by the EFCC. Those guys came out unscathed. So many lies. We were told that, he made that some of the, that he stole the interest on recovered money. It took the Accountant General of the Federation to come out to tell us that no, recovered monies are kept in the TSA. And the TSA does not yield interest. You know, we were told that he did not audit EFCC accounts for 4 years. Only for the National Assembly to provide proof that this person he came before us and presented this thing repeatedly, not even once. So a lot of lies have characterized the whole this thing. So it's unfortunate that Baba Salami has been a victim of these lies. But until this whole thing comes to an end and Nigerians see and the verdict is made public, this thing will not stop. And even when the verdict is made public, that's not where it will end. It will end in court. Because if they recommend this prosecution, the case goes to court. So Baba Salami's panel is not final because it's not a court of law. It's just an administrative kind of panel.
Dotun, what do you make of this situation?
I think by now, if you ask me, Justice Salami should be used to this so-called media trial, social media trial. He has gone through it before when he handled the political cases. Without referring to any specific one, I'm sure we all recollect, I mean, the one that literally took him out of the justice system, leading to his exit from the judiciary. So I think he should expect more of this. And that was what I said also here the last time when this was discussed. Magu should also expect more of this. Because he also did it to others. And he should expect it to be done to him. So for the lawyer saying, look, he never said this, he should expect it. Those are not, for me, like Babajide said, the issues. Let's get through this very quickly. This is taking long. That panel had a time within which to submit his report. It's requested for more. It's going on and on and on. With time, we're all going to lose interest in whatever the panel is going to come up with. But that shouldn't be the case. If you are bringing somebody in for questioning, it should be compact. That is the thing we find very exciting about when Nigerians are taken abroad for trial. The case involving Hush Puppy and his co-travelers is still there. We've seen how these things have been handled with dispatch. We saw how they were taken in the UAE. We shouldn't allow things like this to drag for long. When the drama becomes too long, we lose interest. And it boils to rumors and rumors like it's happening now. So I think the panel should extend the process and allow this issue go to court if there is anything to prosecute.
Yes. Some weeks back, I was reading that some Magu boys were grilled by the panel. It didn't happen.
Nothing like that.
We also read that the panel, the Justice Salami panel, had released an interim report, recommending.
It took a long time.
At that time that they claimed that Justice Salami had released an interim report recommending Magu's sack. Magu had not even been questioned.
It took a longer. It was just recently.
Yes, just some days back. Yes, some days back. He just
that he was allowed to talk.
No, so yet they claimed at that time that there was an interim report. No such thing happened. So if they can claim that Magu's boys were grilled, the so-called Magu's boys were grilled by the panel, and they were not grilled. Nobody brought them to the panel for grilling. So you can imagine the quantum of lies that we are forced to live with. Every day when we wake up, you read newspapers, you will be in two minds about whether to believe this one or not to believe. You don't even know what to believe anymore. So it's becoming part of us now. Fake news. People trying to draw attention to themselves by outright lies. Outright lies.
Sit down, concoct something.
So this is not. It's unfortunate that this old man has been a victim of this, but the C.A.N news is that he has said that he will do justice. And, and that is very important for his name and for his unblemished record.
I'll finally take a last commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Welcome back. Finally, today's episode of Journalist Hangout Midweek Special is on the double jeopardy for commuters over lack of adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols and hike in fares by transporters in Lagos State. 5 months after the Lagos State government eased the restriction on movements, drivers are no longer adhering to COVID-19 safety protocols at parks and in vehicles, but they maintained the hike in transport fares, which came with the lockdown. TVC News Ayoyimika Adeni reports.
The coronavirus was first reported by the World Health Organization on the 31st of December, 2019 in Wuhan, China. Nigeria's index case of coronavirus was recorded on the 27th of February in Lagos State, when an Italian citizen who works in Nigeria returned from a visit to Italy. Since then, Nigerians have been introduced to a new way of life involving masks, sanitizers, social and physical distancing. The World Health Organization advised that in order to slow the spread of the virus, stopping the chain of transmission of COVID-19 was important and could be achieved with social and physical distancing. Governments took to this and ordered that their citizens maintain the rule. Lagos State was not left out, as Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on the 29th of April 2020 mandated public yellow buses, popularly known as Danfo, tricycles and private vehicles to adhere to physical distancing guidelines. The governor ordered that bus commuters wear face masks at all times, sanitize or wash their hands before and after every trip, while transport operators were to ensure that their buses are only loaded to 60% of capacity. This means that if a bus normally takes 10 people when fully loaded, no more than 6 persons can be allowed to board at any point in time. He said that all motor parks must avoid overcrowding, stating that social distancing is required for passengers queuing up to board buses. For tricycles, only 2 passengers were to be carried at once, with masks on. This caused a hike in fares, usually to ensure that the profit margin before the pandemic was still maintained. Most passengers had no problem with this, knowing that it was for their safety. But months later, something changed. Bus drivers were no longer adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocols. Parks were crowded, and no one seemed to do anything about that. It seemed as though the pandemic was over, but the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 was still rising. What bothered many was that the hike in fares was maintained. Everything that concerned COVID-19 was discarded, except that one thing: money. Bus and tricycle drivers insist on loading their buses to capacity, but refuse to revert to the old price.
If they're making me feel safe, I don't feel they're cheating me. But in a situation where they're actually carrying the same amount of people, the same number of people, and still hyping the price, then I feel I'm being cheated.
For instance now, wherever you are going to bike, you cannot take it for 50 naira, it's 100 naira. So like me now that I'm looking for a job, I'm trying to limit it to my vicinity, because going outside, the price is so high. So that is, it has really affected. And the employers, they don't want to understand. They still want to pay you the same amount they were paying you before, or even lower.
With the hike in electricity and fuel price, and bearing in mind the job losses caused by the pandemic, more Nigerians are in a state of double jeopardy, struggling to survive.
As it is, we are just trying to endure, because it's not really easy. With the salary we are earning, compared to the amount of money they take from us for transportation, it's nothing to write home about.
Like I'm speaking to you now, I've lost my job since March because of this COVID-19. You can see me trekking here and there. So it has affected me too much. I can't afford the transport fare as at now.
I think the government should just try and do something about it because it's affecting everybody. People cannot move out to look for jobs. They have to limit their search within the vicinity.
And at the end of the day, we are treated in a way. We are treated in a way because there's no increase in salary. And there's increase in virtually everything. Everything is expensive.
Commuting is an integral aspect of human life. Individuals move from one place to another to work, eat, and basically to survive. If it is now too expensive, life will become unbearable for the ordinary Nigerian. Ayoyimika Adeni, TVC News, Lagos.
Going back to the way pre-COVID era, and
they are not prepared to just go back. The fears were hiked because government said don't go above 60% of the capacity of your bus. They then decided to pass the burden to the commuter. So you want to go out, since they are now going to allow me to pick 10 persons, I'm allowed to pick only 6. Okay, I will now share that burden on all of you. But now that the thing has been eased, they've gone back to packing their buses full with people. But they refuse to touch the fares. So still,
the argument will be the unstable prices of petroleum products. Yes.
The truth is, immediately they increase pump prices of petroleum products, they hiked it again. Meanwhile, it had been hiked earlier. So that's why it's too much pain on the ordinary man. It's too much pain.
Doctor?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, with the impact of this COVID-19 on commuters.
It's unfortunate that we are still where we are, where we've always been, always looking for the shortcut, the interim solution. Let me add to that report that my office is located on a street where you have these tricycles, Marwa.
Oh, that's what we have to leave it there. So just to announce to our people, our Independence Day special for 120 minutes. That's between 5 to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Nigeria at 60.
Yes, we have to be happy as a nation. We've gone through a lot. Nigeria is still one indivisible country. It's something to jubilate about, something to be happy about. And we'll be here to celebrate Nigeria at 60.
And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for the Independence special episode. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platform showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.